Hey guys, like, comment, subscribe. We're back with an NFL video today. It came out recently that the NFL TV contract is set to expire. I believe it's in 2022. They're looking for a new deal, and they went into those rooms with all guns blazing. Apparently, they want double what they were getting before, which is just astronomical when you look at it. They were already getting, what was it, 1 billion per network, and now they want 2 billion per network, and they were getting about 2 billion from Disney slash ESPN, and they want double that, so almost 4 billion. So they're going to give out 6 billion just through TV deals if this actually happens, and that's their opening negotiation technique. Imagine just walking into a room and being like, "We know what we are. We want double," and that's just all they have to say.
It's crazy. It's actually more than that because it's 1 billion per network right now. So
Yeah,
three different networks. So right now, plus Disney, which is we say Disney, it's ESPN.
yeah,
People should get that out of the way. It's ESPN. What they're talking about. But right now they're getting, it looks like 4.9 billion. They're looking to get like almost 10. Once you double the three
right.
networks, 2 billion each, that's 6 billion off those three networks alone. Then you add in almost a fourth from Disney. Like that's crazy. To put this in perspective, whenever the NBA got their crazy deal back in 2016, 2015 with ESPN, that was a deal that ballooned their salary cap, really put the NBA on a crazy fucking pace that they've never been on before. And to put in perspective, they get 2.6 billion per year, and they think that's crazy good money and great for them. The NFL, just I guess in their mind, they think they're a higher quality league, which to me it makes no sense because they play a quarter of the games as any other league.
Yeah, the only way I could view it is them saying like, "Hey, we have 48 guys, 50 guys, whatever it is on an NFL roster that get paid the guaranteed amounts versus other rosters have 12, 15 in the NBA kind of thing." But like you said, they also play 82 games, which makes up for it in some regard. So to say you're worth 5 times more when, I mean, you could say the roster size is technically 5 times as much if you have a 12 time, if you have a team of 12. But when you have a team of 15, like, again, it's about 4 times as much even then. It's just, I just don't know what Roger Goodell, if he's the one negotiating, goes in and has on his plate that he has this leverage. Like, he could go in and be like, "Look, we don't get hit in the head as much anymore. People aren't dying as much anymore," even though Vincent Jackson unfortunately just passed away. Kellen Winslow, who was around in Roger Goodell times, just is in a huge rape case. Like, the NFL in reality, it's just fraction safer than it was years ago. It's not that much better. So I don't know what he really has to bring to the table because from the time, let's say 10 years ago to the time it's now, sure, there might be more money because money's worth more per se. But in terms of fans in the NFL, I don't think it's much different. In terms of popularity for the NFL, I don't think it's much different than a decade ago by any means.
I can see it how it may have picked up the TV revenue in the past year just because of very little fans being there, the fan restriction, the capacity restrictions. I can see that, but even with appreciation, even with them believing that they've hit a new market, they've hit all these new people watching. Which, let's be honest, whenever this pandemic kind of subsides a little bit, less people are going to be watching TV than they were in the last year. So I don't I don't know where they get the balls to say we're double what we were worth before. Double. I would understand 20% increase. I understand a 25, maybe a 50% increase. 100% increase. That's, if they get it, and Roger Goodell is a great negotiator. If he gets that deal, then the NFL players can get paid a lot more. You're talking about 45 guys being on a team. Yeah, I agree. They have big rosters, but the minimum salary for a 7-year NFL vet is still just barely $1 million. 7 years. Very few players get to that point to begin with. So maybe this goes and raises up the minimum salaries a little bit, and it's great for the players overall, great for the industry. Fantastic. But overall, I don't know how you think you're worth twice as much.
Yeah, like you said, 25, 50, those seem like reasonable numbers, but it's just going to be crazy to see what other leagues come in with counter with when the NBA, their next contract expires. They see the NFL possibly get this. They're like, "Okay, we want 100% increase." And it's just going to keep going up and up until one day these are going to be like $1 billion industries just based off their TV deals alone.
And that's pretty much where they are right now.
Yeah.
It's growing off that, but like this is how these teams were able to sustain without having fans. And that's where the difference between the NBA, the NFL, and even the MLB compared to someone like the NHL. The NHL, they kind of rely on the fans coming into the arena for good 15-20% of their overall revenues. And clearly, football has made a way to get revenues without relying on fans coming into the stadium, which is good for them long term and good for the sport. But still, it's still crazy to see. Like I think back at the NBA. The NBA considered themselves such a great TV deal that they believe that anyone entering the league, an expansion team, would cost minimum $2 billion because they would get a share of that money.
Now think of the NFL. Yeah.
And now think of the NFL. You're making almost 4 times as much of the TV deal the NBA is doing. You're splitting that 10 billion across your 32 teams. Like that's some significant pace without doing a damn thing, without having a successful team, without winning a championship, without doing anything. You can be the worst team in the league and have your salaries covered.
Pretty much, unless you're like Warren Buffett, Bill Gates, Jeff Bezos, like any of these actual just ridiculous multi-billionaires, you're not going to start an NFL team nowadays, like you're saying.
Oh,
It's
no.
just, yeah, the buy-in price would just be ridiculous.
And I don't know if the quality of this product has really gone up to be worth
That's
this
what I
much.
mean. Yeah.
So I don't know. It's the tough one. If they're able to pull it off, that's great. But it's really gonna skyrocket the other leagues as well. And like as a watcher, as taking a step back as a fan, someone who wants to watch this on TV, them charging this much, like I've always been hoping for with all these streaming services that we get a really good streaming service that plays all these different sports networks at a good price. It's just not going to happen
Yep.
because they're paying so much to get access to this. It's unreal.
Yeah, especially for us Canadians, so we can't just go see a game. But I mean, let us know what you guys think in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe, and we'll see you soon with some more content.